T.J. Watt hopes to remain with Steelers beyond 2025. You don't expect to hear hospital and T.J. Watt in the same sentence and not have the whole city hold its breath. And that's exactly what happened when the Steelers announced their star pass rusher was taken to a local hospital after feeling lung discomfort at the team facility. The man who terrorizes quarterbacks became, for a night, a patient under observation. The immediate question suddenly swapped from how many sacks to how serious is this, and the whole AFC North felt a little less certain. Reuters, here's what we know. Watt experienced discomfort while at the facility, was evaluated by team medical staff, and was sent to the hospital for further testing. He stayed overnight for observation and additional tests. Coach Mike Tomlin said Watt was comfortable after speaking with him, but also made clear Watt would not practice Thursday and that his status for Monday night's game against the Miami Dolphins is uncertain. More clarity depends on the results of the tests. Those are small, stabilizing facts in a story that otherwise feels unnerving because of how little concrete medical detail is being released. NFL.com, if you're wondering how big this could be for the Steelers, Watt isn't just another starter. He's their defensive heartbeat. A 3-time Defensive Player of the Year candidate turned 7-time Pro Bowler who's been a model of production and durability. This season, he's appeared in 13 games and has produced 7 sacks and 53 tackles, numbers that keep opponents planning their blocking schemes around him every snap. Losing him, even briefly, is like losing your best anchor right before a storm. Reuters. Let's be blunt about the optics. The team announced his hospitalization the same week they're gearing up to play the Dolphins on Monday night, and the Steelers currently lead a shaky AFC North at 7-6. The margin for error is paper thin. Baltimore is breathing down their neck. If Watt is sidelined, Pittsburgh will not only lose sacks and pressures, they'll lose the intimidation factor that changes how offenses operate. Game plans that once bent toward chaos in the presence of numbers. 90 may suddenly look a lot calmer. People.com. That's where the immediate football drama kicks in. The Steelers have built schemes around Watt's ability to win one-on-one matchups, to occupy double teams, and create opportunities for teammates. Without him, coordinator play calling and personnel rotations become chess with half the pieces. Expect more blitz packages disguised with stunts, more safety help over the top in obvious passing downs, and a lot of eyes on whether guys like Alex Highsmith and second-level rushers can make up even a fraction of the pressure Watt typically creates. It's not just about sacks, it's about field position, turnover chances, and the sort of momentum swings that define November and December football. NBC Sports, let's zoom out for a second and remember who we're talking about. In July, Watt signed a 3-year, $123 million extension with the Steelers, a contract that at the time made him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the league and cemented the team's belief that he's the foundation of their defense moving forward. That investment comes with expectations, health, availability, and game-changing plays. Watt has had injuries in the past, but he's been remarkably durable lately, playing 17 games in back-to-back seasons before this year, and that durability is part of why his hospitalization reads as such a jolt. ESPN.com. Now for the human moment. Mike Tomlin said he spoke to Watt and that Watt was comfortable, which is the kind of small private reassurance teams give the public to avoid speculation while they sort the facts. Still, there's an emotional ripple. Teammates who look to Watt for tone-setting leadership, family members who suddenly trade a locker room routine for waiting room reality, and a fan base that has to reconcile a tough season with the fear of losing one of its best players. Football is business, yes, but it's also a collection of people whose lives intersect under bright lights. And tonight, those lights are angled toward a hospital room instead of Heinz Field. Steelers.com. What happens next is the part that will make or break short-term fortunes. The Steelers will get test results, medical staff will assess whether Watt can travel and play, and coaches will prepare a contingency plan. If Watt can't go, the defense will need to generate pressure from other sources and tighten assignment football. Fewer gambles, more disciplined gap control, and a renewed emphasis on team tackling. If Watt is cleared, this becomes a story about caution and management. If he isn't, it becomes a potential turning point in the AFC North race. Either way, the team and the city will be watching every update like it's play-by-play. NFL.com. For opponents and fantasy teams alike, the news blows up the calendar. Miami's offensive coaches will be licking their lips at the idea of neutralizing the Steelers' edge rush without Watt in the fold. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's front office will start thinking beyond Monday. How do they protect a high-paid star? How do they manage his workload down the stretch? And what does this mean for playoff positioning if the prognosis is prolonged? Those are roster and financial questions that usually live in January boardrooms. Suddenly, they take on a little December urgency. Reuters, here's the honest core of it. Nobody knows yet how serious the lung issue is. The team is handling it the way you want professionals to handle ambiguous medical situations, with testing, cautious public comments, and a focus on the player's privacy. Until doctors give a clear read, all talk about long-term impact is speculation. What we can measure, though, is the immediate consequence. Watt's availability for Monday is in doubt, and that single fact changes the storyline for the Steelers' next 3 games and perhaps the remainder of their season. NFL.com, if you want the emotional takeaway to take with you, this is a reminder that even the fiercest competitors are fragile. The same man who sacks quarterbacks for a living spent last night under observation in a hospital bed. It reframes the sport we love, the big hits, the heroics, the contracts and headlines, into something more human and more precarious. Fans want to win, franchises want to protect their investments, and players want to stay on the field. For now, everyone is waiting on tests, waiting on updates, and hoping the man who's carried so much defensive heat for Pittsburgh will be back in pads and playing angry soon. People.com when the next update comes. Whether it's an all clear or a deeper explanation, it will tell us whether this was a scary headline that ends in relief or the beginning of a different kind of fight for the Steelers. Until then, the city holds its breath, the playbook gets rewritten, and the team prays that its best player's next snap is on the field, not in a hospital bed. T.J. Watt sent to hospital with lung issue after experiencing discomfort at Steelers practice facility. Pittsburgh Steelers star T.J. Watt was sent to a local hospital Wednesday after experiencing lung discomfort at the team's practice facility, the team announced. Watt will not practice Thursday, and his availability for Monday night's Week 15 game against the Miami Dolphins is uncertain. Head coach Mike Tomlin confirmed Watt was taken to the hospital for tests and said he spoke with Watt Wednesday evening, adding the pass rusher was comfortable. Tomlin said he was unaware when or how Watt's symptoms began, and that the team expected more clarity once test results were available. Watt reportedly sustained the issue while receiving treatment at the team facility and has remained hospitalized since Wednesday, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Watt, 31, has played in all 13 of Pittsburgh's games this season, recording 53 tackles and 7 sacks. In July, the Steelers signed him to a 3-year, $123 million extension that at the time made him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. That distinction has since been surpassed by Detroit's Aiden Hutchinson. Pittsburgh sits 7-6 and leads the AFC North by 1 game over the 6-7 Baltimore Ravens. If Watt misses time, the Steelers will need to find ways to protect their division standing without arguably their best defensive player. After facing the Dolphins on Monday night, the Steelers closed the regular season with games at the Detroit Lions and against the Cleveland Browns.